man. Look, a day late. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. We had a induction ceremony for my son yesterday. So he got into the Kappa League. So we didn't get on till late. So it was like, hey, I ain't got time to get this thing ready and get it right. And we'll push it to Monday because we were out of school today anyway. So after this, got some things to make sure I got right for tomorrow. But today, hey, we gonna hit back up on this Fangs Up on a Monday edition of the Fangs Up podcast. So as y'all already know what's up because it's always Fangs Up.
Yeah, baby, you know what time it is. Now let's get it started.
Are you kidding me? Unreal!
While our HBCUs are mostly known for academic rigor, community, they also know how to turn up.
Does he have it? Yes, he does! And that might be the knockout punch.
All right, greetings, salutations. Good to see y'all. Look, you can tell it's a Monday edition of Fangs Up because I'm not wearing FAMU attire. So, actually, my favorite hockey team. I am a fan of the Florida Panthers. So, I'm wearing Florida Panthers attire. So, it kind of is what it is today. You know, a little bit loosey goosey, but Stanley Cup champions. So for some of y'all that don't know, yes, I'm a hockey fan. I might be in the minority, but I'm in the group. So can't say you never heard of a person that was melanated that didn't like hockey. I'm one of them. So you can blame Tallahassee Tiger Sharks. But on our Fangs Up Monday, and nah, he don't quite look like me. Looks a lot more like Martin Lawrence, but I was like, this is already done. We're gonna roll with it. Didn't see that lady in the background in the mirror. But kind of is what it is, man. So, but Fangs Up Monday, and I kind of got to enjoy the day, kind of bouncing around, going to the SWAC media call. Also did obviously the FAMU media call this morning. So you may have heard my voice all over the place today. So good times. But what you didn't see and what you may have missed, FAMU volleyball belt BTA. There we go. I kind of want us to like all come out of the stadium with, when other teams just come out and just, hey, your belt's doing like that. And just let them know on this day, you about to catch a nice swift whipping because FAMU volleyball, no games played. Straight butt whoopings, BTA all day. So they took on Southern on Sunday and they blessed them girls. 3-0. Then Alcorn, game just ended. And that game ended quick. They blessed them 3-0. And Coach Gokhan got his 100th win. So I'm just saying, if this team keeps this up, they're going to the NCAA tournament and they might win a game. Like, they might win a game outside of the HBCU space, which they've already done. But they could really do it when you start looking at what they're putting out there. So, okay. All right, FAMU volleyball. Some good stuff going on over there. Now, obviously, the topic du jour is going to be football. Like, FAMU basketball didn't look quiet this week. So they had, practice, some more stuff. But it's definitely football. And since the NFL is on right now, look, I don't know if y'all saw, we got 4 Rattlers on active rosters. I can't. FAMU might have the most HBCU players in the NFL that are active right now. Like, what's up, Tabor T? Hopefully, y'all just got to see Coach Coley's show. If you're like, man, he was late. That's why I was late today. I was like, hey, I ain't gonna be on your call and then trying to compete with your coach. That's not what it is. But yeah, 4 active rosters in the NFL. If you look from top going on around, Marquise Bell, Dallas Cowboys, Terrell Jennings, New England Patriots, Xavier Smith, X-Men, Los Angeles Rams, and Isaiah Lynn in the Indianapolis Colts. So Brian's team. So just saying. And my Cowboys called a mollywhopping the other day. So, but that's recruiting right there. Like, just saying. That would be very nice to have an NFL wall and just have like pictures, helmets, something, and just say like FAMU players in the NFL and that have played in the NFL. I think that'd be a pretty nice thing to have. Some just put out there when you're recruiting, when you're talking to kids. And honestly, Kings of the Big Bend right now. I can't even front. We offered Dalen Green, 6'2", 185-pound athlete, but he's listed as a safety from Gaston County High School. And I say they're the Kings of the Big Bend because they've run through everybody in Tallahassee. They even whooped up on Lincoln the other week. And yeah, I know how much I like to talk big trash over my school, but when you lose, hey, and mama, that's a man. Like, I'm sorry. Ma'am, I feel sorry for your grocery bill because that's a grown behind man right there. Like, grown. Like, you feeding him, he is eating at the table. Yeah. Not quite at that Martin Lawrence level if you're watching The Last Bad Boys, but at the same point, yeah, that kid right there, he is, you can see, definitely. But offer all the same, 2026. So kids got a few years out there. Now, another one, Jalen Foster, 5'11", 190 running back from Itawamba Community College. Look, I had to slow down and say that one. So looks like you probably, you definitely got to fill some positions. You know, Kelvin Dean's set up to graduate. So might be a hole there running back that you're trying to fill. And we know defensive ends, defensive line, you're always looking for it. Matt Freeman, 6'3", 240 from Kilgore College. That's in Texas. Look, we recruit pretty well there. So defensive end, okay. So get them on over to FAMU. Bring them home. Like, that's kind of what we're looking for here. Some of the stuff we need. Like I said, today is rare. I don't normally get into the calls. I normally have class going on during that time, so I miss the head coach's call. So today I was like, yo, I'm gonna make it my business to be in there today. So I got in there early. I kind of checked on one. I was in the SWAC call the whole time. It's like I got there early. I was like, yo, I'm enjoying this today because I kind of wanted to ask questions, but also kind of wanted to hear some of the stuff. And Brian from ONG Strike Zone, you're not wrong. That was very awkward when that brother from Cooking was talking, because it was like, you don't want to be like weird about stuff, but at the same point, the day after, they have a whole Twitter space complaining about the program. It's kind of weird for us to be, and just have a media day, and it's like, I really don't know what to ask you because, one, I don't cover Cookman, but two, I watch the games. That's my third Cookman game I've watched, and it ain't got no better. So, like, we always on BTA around here, but yeah, somebody jokingly was like, you need to start the second string. You almost could. Like, it's a problem. But I'm gonna jump on that hype train with y'all. And if you missed it, they are hyping this game up. They are saying 50,000 plus are supposed to be in attendance. And all of a sudden, conveniently, Jackson State's number 25. North Carolina Central, I believe they're 22. So we have 3 HBCUs in the top 25. And FAMU's number 18. I would argue North Carolina Central is probably playing a little better than us right now. But that's just an argument. I'm just saying. I'm going to put that out there. Now, a couple questions and a couple things that we did get from Coach Colesy today and I love how Melvin B is like Coach Cozy. But I'm just picking Melvin. But one of the things, and I caught Cozy twice. I asked him a question once, I asked the second time. And first thing, they talked about the health. Team is healthy, it's been all season, which not a surprise. I mean, you came off of going up to Alabama State, pretty much beat them. They can't throw the ball, which I asked him that question very nicely too. I ain't gonna lie. I was very nice with that one. And look, if you go back and watch it, and sorry not to get sidetracked, but Cardell Maynor has a hell of an idea to deal with this national letter of intent thing. Go back and watch that. Pretty cool. I think Maynor was near the beginning. Anywho's, but back to FAMU because that's who I care about the most. But the team's pretty much healthy, and you kind of got those filler questions like, what about the importance of the game? And this is the most important game of the schedule, and you kind of got that question. And okay, the game could decide who decide who wins the SWAC East. We know this. We kind of got this. And then the head-to-head battles are what matters. I mean, that's pretty much what we got from Colsey, but we kind of knew this. Like, I know multiples of us said this, especially once Andrew Body went down and the backup went down. This is going to be the game. This is the game that decides the conference on the east side. Now, the west, go figure that out. It looks like Alcorn, but at this point, I can't pick Dooley anymore in Grambling because they burned me last week, man. That 3-2 wasn't pretty. Brother been riding 5-0s and 4-1s. I saw 3-2. Like, what? What's up, Marvin? Good to see you there. But then, other thing, you may have heard it in the coach's show, but he also said this in all the pressers today. They pretty much focused on Jackson, spent extra time. Guys understand what's at stake. They get the ESPN thing. Now, I'm hearing they expect a sellout crowd. We'll see. That's assuming a lot of us going to travel. And one of the travel concerns, like fatigue, playing in Jackson is part of the schedule, yada, yada, yada. Good football teams go on the road and win. Which, yeah. But honestly, I kind of listened to the travel comment and was like, we had to travel to Miami, though. Like, people who aren't from Florida don't realize Tallahassee, Miami ain't close. It's like, it's a shorter drive to Jackson than it is to Miami. Granted, we were flying, but especially for the band, which, as far as we know, they're not going. That's a 6-hour ride to Jackson. It's an 8-hour ride to Tallahassee. I mean, from Tallahassee to Miami. So Jackson, Mississippi is actually closer, like driving distance wise, to Tallahassee than Miami is. And I'm not telling you what somebody told you. I'm not telling you what somebody told me. I'm telling you for what I've done. I've driven to Miami a few times from Tallahassee. I've driven to Jackson a couple times through Jackson. It's a shorter ride to Jackson. So, you kind of start thinking like, yeah, the travel to Jackson really ain't that bad. It's, once you get off I-10, it kind of sucks, but it is what it is. But again, they had the dedicated practice. But the big things, and you saw him talk about at the end of the coaches show, was special teams. And something about that special teams is a problem. Like, what's up, Gail? I got a question about the special teams because Colsey, he talked about special teams all day today. Like, one of the things my dad has taught me as a kid, if you hear the same thing more than 3 times, it's probably true. And I went back and I tried to find an opponent that Jackson State played that had a heartbeat. And Grambling was the closest thing to it, followed by Texas Southern. So I watched Texas Southern because Grambling's offensive line is unwatchable. Like, I can't. I watched them the other day, and I was like, what the heck is this? Like, I can't do it. So I wouldn't even do it to myself again. And I haven't watched a lot of Texas Southern. So I watched the beginning of the game. You watch that opening kickoff. I'm going to say the same thing that we said about Troy. Don't kick to that dude. That dude they got back there, kick returner. And I love that Colsey pointed out, hey, kick return teams look pretty good. They may have. But you know what? Don't kick to him. Like at all. Not today, not tomorrow. Put that ball out of bounds if you can. Like, not saying the guy is Devin freaking Hester, but he's a good kick returner. And that's not the atmosphere where you want to give that guy a chance, especially early. Now, late in the game, you up by 75, I'm with it. But at the same point, like, nope. Turnovers, and I said it. So if you want to go back, look, y'all know me. I stand on data. I don't care. I even said to Cozy on the call. I was like, we had won a turnover battle one time this season, but we still have a winning record. We've beaten all the FCS teams. So imagine if you won the turnover battle, even in the Troy game, you might have won that game. But that's ifs. So you start looking, in this case here, you got to win the turnover battle. And that's something Cozy, he stated. So it's something he's harping on. You even saw Gerald for the Democrat write an entire article about it. So turnovers are a concern offensively. But you can see one of the things I do like with Cozy, and you heard him say it in the coaches show, he's seeing some of what we're seeing. Like as far as some of the play calling with Danny Richardson, I don't think he loved it either. I think he felt like at times we were a little too aggressive. That's kind of what sounded like what he said. A little too aggressive too early. Where I don't know if that means like too much just standing in the pocket and having him just sling that rock or what. But you can start to see Cozy seeing what you're seeing. Like, complain about it, him not being in the press box if you want to. It's an antiquated argument because I don't have my daughters here, but they literally have iPads on the screen, on the sideline. So whatever you can see from the press box, they're looking at on the sideline and showing it to the players. So it's an antiquated argument to say, okay, the coaches, they may not see it in the moment, but pretty much in real time, they're able to see stuff. And you do have those graduate assistants upstairs. So, just putting that out there. Let's see if we can kind of lay that argument to bed, because it's showing some of our age. Like, it shows that some of us hadn't caught up with technology. But just say, not trying to be mean. But the other part was offensively, and I asked him the question about turnovers, and I appreciated that Cozy gave me both sides, because I was like, can you talk about the defense getting turnovers and the offense giving turnovers? Definitely paraphrasing. And some of it, he was just talking about the best answer he gave was maturity and saying, like, sometimes you just got to go down. No diddy. Like, sometimes you running the ball, play's over. Like, you just got to go ahead and give it up, man. Like, and that's something that you could definitely see at times has hampered us, because you got to protect the ball, and we fumbled quite a bit. Let's see, the adjustments have been great. Just would be nice to not have to make any. You're not wrong, but I mean, that's football, though. Football is a game of adjustments, so I got to respond to what you're going to present to me. And I'm pretty sure when we kind of started to look at this and going towards the defense, and you kind of heard the question, because and like I told you, I stayed for a SWAC call. TC Taylor's is at the very end. So if you want to go back and catch a SWAC call and you want to catch TC Taylor's, his is at the end. Colsey's, it was 11:45 a.m. our time. So it's kind of near the beginning. So it's probably like 40 minutes into the show. But because we were moving pretty quick. But anyways, I digress. I got a feeling Jackson State's going to try to pull something out of the hat. Like, go back and see that Texas Southern game and go back and watch some of the other games. They don't have a problem running a trick play. Like, you saw where they ran like a reverse on a kick return. Considering where our secondary has been, and they have a 6'5" receiver on their team, I'd be very shocked if I didn't see a double pass coming from them in some shape or form. Not that I've just seen it on screen, but when you're considering that one side, you got a what 6'2", 6'3" corner. I think Kendall's like 6'2", 6'3". He's above 6 feet. um, and then you have a 6'5" receiver, and they don't have anybody, or we don't have anybody that's that tall. And you're considering that one side of the secondary is had problems. We'll say that. I'm just saying. I think there's a big play to be had there. That's just me. I'd be looking out for that. That'd be something where you may just want to reinforce eye discipline with the safeties and with the defensive backs. But even with the defense, like Colsey's talked about where drives happens being very important and really helping the defense. But the other thing, the big talking point, and we definitely we got to stop telling people FAMU doesn't have a run defense. We got to, because some people are just drinking the Kool-Aid and not doing any research. Like, is it the best run defense in the SWAC? No. Has it gotten better statistically? Yeah. Until you get to the Alabama State game, and one of those runs like an 80-some yard run, they hit 5 yards per carry. But if you look outside of Miami and Troy, that yards per carry, there's Norfolk State, and it goes down for South Carolina State. Then it goes back up for Miami and Troy, then it goes back down for Alabama State. Alabama State hit right at 5. You take away one big run, talking 4 yards per carry. Go back and look. And that coach for coach next to James Cooks looks like Jadakiss. You watching the Bills game. Oh goodness. I'm sorry. Look, that's his fault. That ain't my fault. But yeah, like you start looking at it, the rushing yards have gone down a little bit. And you heard both teams say something similar. Like I said, I kind of stayed for the whole time. And you heard Alabama State's coach and Colsey both say that Alabama State came in with a plan. They really wanted to execute the plan, and FAMU didn't really let them do as much as they wanted to. And you even go far as to see TC say the same thing. TC Taylor's going to say, if I remember correctly, that Alabama State had a plan against FAMU, and they kind of stopped them. So you can see where the defense is bubbled up. Like, we have our problem spots, but you can definitely tell. For me, this is me, and I'll let y'all into the group chat. But one of the questions in our group chat was, "Hey, what's up with defense?" And I was like, I don't know if the defense is bad or what you see in practice misled you into what you would see in game. Because what we're seeing in game is a run offense that's not the greatest. And I really thought we were going to be a better run defense than we are. I think the coaches did the same. I think the coaches thought, hey, in practice, this is what I'm seeing. This is the personnel that's able to do it in practice. We should have one of the best offensive lines in the SWAC. So if I put this defense up here that I'm seeing in practice, when I see good on good, then the run game shouldn't be a problem. And I don't think they saw that in game. That's just me. I could be wrong, and that's not my take. I ain't gonna lie. That's something I learned from somebody else. His name is Bud Elliott. He was talking about Florida State. I was listening, and I was like, I wonder if that applies to FAMU. And I kind of looked, and I was like, I've seen that before as a football player. Like, man, we cold in practice. Man, ain't nobody stopping us. And then you play somebody, you're like, man, what happened, coach? And he like, hell if I know. We was stopping him in practice. I think that's some of what we saw, because why, besides health, like some of it is what Coach Henry was saying in 220 Club last week about wear and tear on players, trying to protect players. Some of that's valid. A lot of it's valid. Some of that, to me, is also you searching. And can you find that extra offensive lineman? And can you find that guy that can you find that TJ Demas? And y'all know TJ's was my favorite offensive lineman last year. That's still my guy. When I see TJ on this at the stadium, it's always like, dude. And TJ knows he was my guy. But one of the things that TJ was, he was a Swiss Army knife. And when he got hurt, you lost that. Like literally, you were like, oh man, I need a guy to go play center. Let me go get TJ. Here we go. Oh, need a guy to go play tackle. I can throw him over there for a few plays. Got a guard. I got a knife for that. Like, you lost that. I actually have a Swiss Army knife at my desk. Like, you lost that player that could literally do a bunch of different things and fill in at different positions. You lost that. So now you're trying to kind of go back and see if you got that. Can this guy play center? Can this guy play guard? Can this guy play tackle? And in doing some of that, you're going to lose some of the natural rhythm that an offense develops. But at the same point, you got healthy. Like, you can't underestimate that health aspect and how that impacts this game, but then how it also helps the team. Like, you're getting healthy at the right time. Unfortunately, you got a few games off. So, you kind of lose whatever momentum you may have had. And honestly, I'm not Bomani Jones bad about momentum, but at the same point, I'm not crazy about momentum. Like, this ain't like working out in the gym where you get your rhythm and you just hit the bench press, and some of that's muscle memory. Less of it is just the momentum. Because honestly, if you're lifting with momentum, you're lifting improperly. But at this point in time, when you're looking at this, I think certain these positions you've gotten healthy at the right time. But some of these other things, you figured out personnel. And one of the things that was given to us, again, a lot of these coaches calls today, in the last one with Coach Patterson, hey, this is my base. It's a 4-2-5, but we rotate to a 4-3. And I was like, I knew it. I've been watching the film, and I was like, okay, I don't want to give you that much credit yet. Not saying that I don't think you're doing it, but it's there. And it just led to that. I asked that last question at the end, like, yo, what's up with the run game? Like, and that's where Colsey kind of opened up about it. He was like, some of the new guys, he said it in a nice way, but some of them don't know what the hell they're doing. Like, he said it in a very professional way. And some of the guys don't know where they fit in the scheme. Because you think about it, these guys are coming down oftentimes. I mean, you got a defensive tackle that's coming from the FBS to the FCS. Naturally, you think, I'm a ball. Like, you got a defensive end that's coming from JUCO. You just saw what this other DM was doing. I'm about to come in and ball. And I think, and I pointed this out in the first game, the defensive line wasn't playing together. And Colsey said it a few times over. The defense wasn't playing together. Like, gap integrity. This guy's not filling in this place. This guy's not in the right place. You're not playing together. Plain and simple. Like, if you're not in the right gap, you're not where you're supposed to be. Now, you're also seeing we did a better job against the run. And Coach even pointed out, if that tackle gets made, that long run don't happen. I'm with you. But this week, and that was a chair. This week, though, you got a mobile quarterback that can kind of throw. That can more than kind of throw. So, like, you got to get that thing going. It's like, until they get the attitude adjustment. Still at work popping. I got a job on coach's call. Hope to see us take the and sustain the lead Saturday. Look, BTA, that's what I want. I don't want the players not playing every week. They should be healthy and fresh legs. Extremely. Like, yeah. Like, we should be making a call to the boosters or somebody about some muscle milk, because I'm hoping these dudes been getting right for a few weeks. But Coach Colsey pointed out, and we kind of knew this. Jackson State's quarterback's kind of mobile. They use multiple running backs. Ooh. And I'm not saying that to be like sarcastic to them, but you literally have some of us that are saying, why are we using 3 running backs? Because every level of football does that. Like, you gonna be the only school, only place in the nation that uses 1 running back. Then all of a sudden, come the Cookman game, why isn't this guy playing? Well, he's hurt. I mean, you have an obvious running back flow. You got your third down back. It should be Kelvin Dean. Like, especially going to throw the ball. Now, if you're going to run the ball, probably both. Your first down back, second down back, Thad Franklin. So, I mean, you got a little rotation of backs. Just use them. And you got to use them properly. Like, some of that is definitely the play calling, though. Like, you do better stop with the run. But offensively, sometimes you got to. What I heard in the 220 call last week was sometimes we get stuck trying to get into the rhythm. What's up, Ashton? Like, sometimes we get stuck in trying to get into the rhythm of, oh man, first down didn't happen. We got to find another rhythm play. Nah, bro, you just got to find another play. And some of this, you need to find the tight ends. Because I asked Colsey this on the SWAC call. I was like, yo, what's up with these tight ends? Like, beginning of the season, I was getting plenty of tight ends. No diddy. But now, man, bro, I haven't seen a tight end really much at all. And some of that he was pointing out the scheme, like, hey, scheme wise, they're taking the tight ends away. You're not wrong. But also schematically, they ain't got to take them out when they not in. Like, we over here talking about, hey, the run game is looking a little lax. Well, the backfield is looking a little lax too. Like, you're taking these tight ends out of the game sometimes. That's an extra blocker. So all of a sudden, you were using the tight end as H-back. You were using the tight end to block. Like, go back and watch week 1 and 2 of this football team. Offensively, you were more limited as far as the plays you kind of gave to your quarterback. But you offered more to the tight ends. Whereas now, man, we get lucky to see Pruitt. And honestly, sometimes I don't know if Pruitt gets in games just to shut the fans up. Because we're like, why is that dude over there not playing? Like, you got 3 tight ends. It's a known strength of your team. Why aren't all 3 getting in? They ain't got to play at the same time. You can rotate them in and out like you do the running backs. But at the same point, they need the ball to hit their hands. Hell, if you just run the ball up the gut, not left and right, stop that lateral running bull jump, run up the gut with one of these tight ends, man, a joker might get run over. Like, I'm just saying, you have those tight ends there to help you out leverage the other team. Like, do that, because the run game's been a liability. But at the same point, if you have inject the tight ends into this offense, they become not only pass blocking assistants, but they also become passing threats, and they become run blocking assistants. And they also open up to where you can run delays. You can have them chip a man, then run underneath, and all of a sudden, that's another outlet for your quarterback. So there's some ways that we can reintegrate them back into the offense. And it's not something just to harp on, but it's because this is an offense that can actually score. This is the first offense you play with a heartbeat. Like, no disrespect to South Carolina State, but at that point in the season, they were not where they are now. Norfolk State was never that good. Like, we could just say that. Like, Alabama State is fighting with one arm tied behind their back. Like, you literally have an offense that can't do anything. So when you're looking at this and going into this game, this is the most explosive team you're going to play all season. Now, are they beating bad teams? Yeah. Jackson State hadn't played a good schedule. They haven't. But at the same point, they've beaten who's in front of them for the most part. Like, so is this a game that I feel you should win? Yeah. Like, I don't see where everyone's screaming FAMU's got no run defense. I think they're just parrots. I don't think they're looking at the stats. Like, but I think you need a run offense. And to improve that, put tight ends in the game. Like, little baby says also, coach mentioned Pruitt today. So does that mean we'll see him more on Saturday? Hopefully, more than on special teams. Is Henry handcuffed himself or trying to save plays or something? I don't know if he's. I wouldn't say he's trying to save plays. I think some of it he's trying to showcase the talent. I do feel personally sometimes our coaches do too much to try to showcase some of the players' talents, opposed to just be like, "Hey, just run the game, just play a scheme." Like we see this, we all see that. And I asked the question of about the secondary to Coach T.C. Taylor, and I was like, "Yo, you kind of concerned about your secondary?" You know, and he's like, "No, I'm good. They're experienced. They're very experienced." And I'm like, "That's what's up," because whoever was right before me, bro, I don't know what FAMU football you watch. He's like, "Oh man, this is a high-powered FAMU offense," and I'm over there like, "Bull." I ain't gonna finish the rest, but I'm like, bro, this team hasn't scored like more than 30 points all season. This is not a high-powered, high potential, but high-powered. Like, this might be the if FAMU hits all cylinders, this is the game where you score the most points of the season thus far. But nah, high powered. You got an on off switch. You have that. That's part of the culture. It's a bad part of our culture. Like FAMU has an on off switch, and it's been there since last season. Kind of was there the season before. Like, I'm sorry, it was almost like the Jackson State switch. Like we play Jackson State, and they slap us around, or we barely lose to them, and then we're fighting for something for the rest of the season. Whereas this year, it's kind of a lot like last year. Like until you challenge us, we kind of dancing, playing, shucking and jiving. Then all of a sudden, it's like, oh no, we serious, and then we get the lead, and we back to cutting up, like BTA, whipping imaginary folks with belts and all kind of stuff. But again, when it comes to Jackson State, this is the most explosive offense in the SWAC, at least up to last week. I put air quotes there because some of the teams they played aren't worth a curse. Like, I'm sorry, Texas Southern is not a good team, and we play them later this season, but that's not a good defense. Like, it's just not. Grambling is not a good team. Like, they got a decent quarterback, but you listen to the SWAC calls. Hell, the coach threw him under the bus. Like, I need him to read defenses. Like that brother said like 3-4 times, I need him to read defenses better. I need him to read defenses faster. Like, all right, bro, you ain't have to sit up there and watch the live on off script with the rest of us. Like, okay. I caught the end of that. That was funny. That game was like nobody wanted to win it. Like, that was a game. Talk about a game nobody deserved to win. That was won. And Grambling's not a good team. Like, Alcorn's solid, but they're not explosive. Like, SWAC needs to get rid of divisions. Top 2 teams. You're antiquated. And look, Marvin, no turnovers and mistakes. They should show up by 30. Yeah. Honestly, if you eliminate turnovers, if you are able to win the turnover battle by at least 2 turnovers, you should win this game by 3 touchdowns. And that's not arrogance. That's not cockiness. Y'all can snap it. You can cut it. Make sure you cut it the right way. And make sure I'm not blindly posted as saying that we are going to beat that team by X amount of points regardless. No, I'm saying, oh, he missed a field goal. Oh, no, he made it. That if FAMU wins the turnover battle by 2 turnovers, they should win. by 3 touchdowns. I'll say that. I don't think that this team is that much more explosive than FAMU. They have a really explosive kick returner. Don't kick to him. They have a quarterback that can move about the pocket. We're going to act like we haven't seen FAMU's defensive ends be very athletic. You don't have Say is not there. Anthony Dunn is not there. Like, some of what you lost defensively isn't just the loss of a defensive mind in Smitty, but it's the attrition of a roster due to the transfer portal. And if I'm Colsey, and honestly, if I'm any other HBCU coach, especially from my school, what I'm doing is I am getting a list of everyone who transferred out of my school, and I'm finding who went to the NFL. Because I can show you 4 FAMU players that are currently in the NFL on active rosters that stayed. 3 of which are homegrown. 1 transferred in. I can't name a single transfer from FAMU that's in the NFL right now. Now, there are other schools where guys transferred, and it's looking up. But I think that's a stat that you use in recruiting. Just saying. And Will says, I still think we have the coaching advantage. I think so too. And that's that's not an indictment on TC. That is, for me, it's partial bias. I own my bias. Y'all know me. When I'm biased, I'm gonna say I'm biased. And in this case, I do own a little bias. I think our offensive coordinator he's a little ahead. I think defensively we're miles ahead. And I think some of that's talent. Some of that is also just the mind. I do think defensively we're a little ahead. That's just me. I could be wrong, but that's just me and my 2 cents. So I agree with you, Will. But the biggest thing right here, you gotta be good in coverage. Like, I'll say this once, I'll say it twice, I'll say it 3 times. I'm not worried about Jackson State running the ball. It's not that they can't do it. It's not that I think we're just so much better than them. It's just that I think FAMU has shown that it can stop the run. And Will, that's why I said I'm with you. That's why I said I think adjustments is where we take the lead over every team in SWAC. I don't think any team makes better in-game adjustments than FAMU. And some of that's technology. I would argue offensively, Pine Bluff's close. Like, I like their offensive coordinator. They don't have the talent to do everything he wants to do, but I like him as a coordinator. Like, that brother's solid. But we got to stay in coverage, because one of the things TC stated, Coach Taylor, I don't know, he's not my best friend. Coach Taylor stated was that they're trying to get the ball to players in space, which that's like saying I drink sweet tea. I'm from the South. Like, anybody who's not diabetical does. Duh. Like, I mean, I like sweet tea. I like Coca-Cola. Dallas, Florida. Like, Georgia border's right there. Like, the history of Havana and Coca-Cola. So that's like a no-brainer. But on this one, you can start to see, when you watch their offense, the things that you're going to have to do. And then I don't want to get too much into it, because then I want to have a show on Thursday to talk about. But you got to get pressure on the quarterback. I mean, that's kind of an obvious, it's a stated thing. But what you excelled at when you go back and watch the film last year from the OBC against Jackson State, you made that quarterback so uncomfortable. And your defensive line was really able to do some things. And it also helped that your special teams made some big plays. Like, I mean, that first kick return of the game, that's the tone. because all of a sudden it goes from like, all right, it's an even game to, oh crap, we have to score. If you're Jackson State, you're like, oh crap, we have to score. Like we can't just kind of get into our rhythm and do our things. Like, oh, expletives, we have to score. And some of that, I don't know if you're gonna get for Lockhart, but he's showing some flashes. But some of you got to limit the penalties, but you can't let the crowd get to you. This is gonna be the second biggest crowd you play in this season. Like, might be the second biggest crowd all season, depending on what the Florida Classic looked like. Because a lot of your cousins from Cookman saying they ain't coming. Like, they just like, hey, it's 0-6, and it's BTA all season. I don't got to travel to Orlando to get more of that. Now, if you want to come to the Greek picnic, hey, you know, you know what the party's at. And she with the Noobs. She with the Noobs now. She might like you. She loved me. And look, and you're not wrong though. Zordon, you are not wrong. JSU's line has been playing pretty well. And I think part of why I'm not overly concerned, I do think we play a different personnel group on the defensive line. I think some of that, and that's just me. I could be wrong, but if Keith is the defensive coordinator, let me say it like that. I'm going to use a slightly different defensive line that allows us to clog the middle more, probably a little bigger, a little beefier at the D tackle spot. And even I'm probably pushing James Ash to end. I'm not having him play a lot of tackle this game. And I might put that speed rusher on the other end that's a little bit lighter in the draws, that may be faster, that can kind of give me a good one-on-one with the tackle on that side, and maybe rotate them around just so they can take turns. Because I feel like if you get a nice push at the front that makes their running back slow down, your linebackers are showing Nayron Jenkins is a tackle machine. Like, is he what Isaiah Major was last year? Absolutely not. But does he have big play potential? He's shown it, yeah. All right, like, is he going to make that, interception the way Major did a lot of times? Probably not. But is he going to be in the right place at the right time? More than likely. Like, I'm liking it. And I agree with you, Zordon, though. I definitely think their line is pretty solid. Again, my biggest concern is really the secondary. It's really not the run game. I feel like if you do what you have to do, you should win this game. Like, this should be it. And honestly, if you win this game, you're probably winning out the conference, depending on what happens with AAMU. But you can only focus on the game in front of you. So, but it was pretty cool, man. If you missed the call, though, look, Carnell Maynard, he had an idea, and I wasn't even planning to get on. I'm be real with y'all. My wife was on the other side of the room, and I heard Maynard start talking, and I like to listen to Maynard, partially because he just talk. Like, some of the stuff he says is actually kind of smart. Like, if you listen to him, you'd be like, all right, bro. He posed the idea, and he talked about the national letter of intents and, no longer binding, the players not having these things, and how that's going to kind of hurt HBCUs. And he's also pointing out how these players are not going to graduate, which is, you got a point there. Like, how are you going to do this APR stuff with these kids bounce around schools like this? But then the other thing I thought about, what if, this is just Keith, I could be wrong, what if you did college football the same way you do college baseball? Hear me out. So for college baseball, granted, it's not as far as I know, you don't have to stay at that school for 2 years. But if you go play college baseball, you have to play college baseball for 2 years. What if the NCAA did the same thing? Like, hey, once you sign to a school, you got to stay there 2 years. Is that good for every kid? No, it's not. And your wiggle out of that would be if coaches got fired. And I would extend that beyond simply head coaches. I would allow the caveat of position coaches because all of a sudden that gives the kids a loophole. Because, and I'll use UCF because I don't want to talk about Florida State. They suck. Uh, but you're seeing right now, UCF's literally having kids quit left and right. Like even Quan Lee was pointing out, like, yo, that 2022 class is practically gone. What if the NCAA had it such that you were bound to that school for 2 years, unless you're a head coach or a position coach left, which that allows you a chance to, hey, like we saw at FAMU this year, your defense coordinator left. All right, you can go. Like receivers coach leaves, you can go. Like, does that guarantee that kids are going to stay at a school longer? Nah. And some of the semantics, but in the grand scheme of things, it kind of gives everybody involved a little something. One, as a school, it gives you incentive to want to keep coaches. Like you start to get assistants that, hey, I kind of want to keep this guy around. I may want to make a better hire. I may not want to just hire him a friend of a friend of a friend. I might actually want to hire somebody who got some freaking chops. Like, and it may position coach maybe too far. We may want to say head coach, OC, DC, but I'm just saying because then that allows coaches to build a culture. It allows them to really let the students figure out the university, the system. And for some kids, it's just not going to work. Like, let them go to JUCO, bounce back. Like, I'm just saying, I think Maynard had an idea there. Like, because without that, how do you build a culture? Because I can tell you right now, FAMU has a culture, football wise, of turning it on and turning it off. We know this. We've seen this for 2 years. And it's the most frustrating thing ever. Like, you literally watch that FAMU game against Howard, and some of it you're like, what the hell is Musa doing? Who's he throwing to? And then other parts you're like, okay. But you literally watch the team turn it on against some teams and turn it off. And they knew, like earlier this season, what was that, South Carolina State? Or was that Norfolk where the players are dancing on the sidelines? I think it's South Carolina State. We literally took our foot off the gas. And all of a sudden, like, oh crap, we're losing. We got to win. And we won. Like, I'm thinking that was something that was there. Some other stuff I'll hit on later, man. I'm going to save the Magic City Classic thing for next week. But it was pretty interesting just to kind of jump on some of the calls, listen to some of the coaches talk, and just really listen to both coaches say what's up. I'm just here to say beat JSU. BTA. That needs, look, hashtag for the rest of the week. Anything with FAMU, hashtag FAMU, hashtag JSU BTA. Like, in the words of Pusha T, if you know, you know. Like, I'm here for it all week. Like, and honestly, it's not, for me, it's still not a rivalry. Partially because I don't enter them chats and them talks. Like, and so are the people I don't listen to. Like, the only time I pay folks attention is this week. And even now, I'm not paying, I'll be honest, the only Jackson State people I really give attention to is Ken Clark. Ken Clark, him and Zoe, I give them attention. I do watch them periodically. Those brothers are very informed. They're knowledgeable. They're rational. I ain't gonna say no names, but I don't pay them other folks no attention. I'll leave it like that, because then if I say I'm not paying them attention, then all of a sudden they're gonna write a press release and put my name on it and make it seem like I'm hating. And it's the opposite. I just don't care. Like, I'm not paying you attention. Unless they're the pick'ems. And the pick'ems, I would have beat you. But yeah, man. Look, we did this today because we didn't do it on Sunday. So before I sign off, look, I don't have the picture handy. But if I did, shout out to my son. He's in the other room. You might hear this in the car in the morning. But Nehemiah, very proud of you. My son, Nehemiah, got inducted into the Winter Park chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi's Kappa League, and my daughter is in Delta Academy. So, look, you know, you raise them how you want to. We raise them right around here, and my son knows the rules. I don't care what you play, son. Just don't come home with no damn iota. I'm sorry. That's not hate. He could be the biggest monkey in the jungle if you want to. He could have a blue and white K, but don't be no damn iota. um, for those of y'all who missed it though, look, we went 3-2 this week, man. Look, it was a tough week. Gremlin got me. That's what I get for trusting Dooley. He's not the head coach, but he's involved. And man, he got me a few times last year. We're still in first place though, so we'll do the graphic, get it right. We'll come back Thursday. We're gonna talk about really delve more into this game. Just kind of look into some of the stats, you know, and kind of see what we got here and see what we got with this recruiting. Because look, I don't know if y'all know, but FAMU, ABC always be recruiting, man. So, and pay attention to stats, especially stop listening to all these people telling you, fam, you can't stop the run. We had a couple games where the run numbers look bad, but defense is getting better. How about this? Y'all tell the opponents, fam, you can't stop the run. Just run the ball right at FAMU all day long. See how that works. All right. So for Adam and the whole crew at HBC Digital Network, though, y'all appreciate y'all coming out on a Monday night. So I'll see y'all Thursday, and y'all already know what's up. It's always gonna be. Thanks.
Yeah, baby, you know what time it is. Now let's get it started.
Are you kidding me? Unreal.
While our HBCUs are mostly known for academic rigor, community, they also know how to turn up.
Dorsey, have